Hello everybody, my name is Sheila or SL Reads, and today I'm going to be doing my March wrap-up and April TBR. I have been awful about posting videos, but now I'm finally done with midterms and I had a hell week last week, so hopefully I'll be better about it. We shall see. Even though I had like the most stressful last few weeks, I did manage to read like 11 books. Some of them were short, some of them were longer, so I'm just gonna go into it now. So the first book that I read was Opal, which is by Maggie Stiefvater. It is a novella companion to the Raven Cycle series, which is one of my favorite series of all times. It follows one of the characters who is introduced within the Raven King, so it's a bit of a spoiler, but it pretty much just follows her, and it also like shows her perspective on the world and her perspective on some certain characters. Like I said, I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read The Raven King, that's where she's introduced, but I definitely enjoyed it, and I'm also really excited for the Dreamer trilogy, which is supposed to be like a spin-off series based off my favorite character of all time, Ronan Lynch. The next 4 books that I read were 4 volumes of Fence by C.S. Pacat, who is the author of the Captive Prince trilogy. This is a graphic novel series about fencing. I just kept seeing it coming up when I was reading the novellas that are companions to the Captive Prince series, and so I decided to finally pick one up. I like comics, I like graphic novels and all that jazz, so I just thought that it'd be fun. But it's pretty good. I haven't really seen where it's going. I don't really know anything about fencing, so I'm definitely learning some stuff. I don't know, it's pretty interesting. And then the next 2 books that I read were The Raven King and The King's Men by Nora Sakavic. These are the 2nd and 3rd books to the All for the Game series. The first one is Foxhole Court. This is my favorite series of all time. Best books. It was such an experience to reread them. I've reread them every single year, so this is my 3rd time reading them. And it's just fantastic because I definitely experienced a lot of the fan content on the internet, the fan art, the fan fiction, all that kind of stuff, and so it's so great to like see where it actually came from, see what's actually canon, experience the characters like in character, the way Nora Sakavic writes them. They're just such fantastic characters. It's such an interesting story because I know I talk about this in like every single video, but this is a series that involves sports and the mafia and crime families and found families. I want to make a video about this whole series at one point, just like completely focused on this because I never do it justice trying to explain it in like a short amount of time. The next book that I finished was the Pride and Prejudice audiobook, so there's Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I have been reading this for like years, for like 3 years. I have had it on my Goodreads reading challenge for like forever because I was reading the paperback. I didn't like the version that I had, and also there were so many other books to read and it was kind of hard to get into, so eventually I decided to listen to the audiobook while I was working, and it actually really worked. I've never really listened to audiobooks, but since I really love the movie of Pride and Prejudice, like the 2005 version with Keira Knightley, it was kind of like watching that, but just like in my ears. I guess that's how audiobooks just are anyways, but since I love the movie so much, it was definitely just a great experience to like read it that way. I kind of want to read more audiobooks, so if anybody has any suggestions, like I like the free ones you can find on YouTube, but if there are any, I might try and get like an Audible trial or something. The next 2 books that I read were Measure for Measure and Othello by William Shakespeare. Measure for Measure is awful. I don't know, like I don't like comedies. I think that's my issue, but this is literally just it was an experience. It definitely has a lot of tones of like sexual harassment and men getting away with things that they really shouldn't be getting away with, but that's also how life is today, and so I saw it like really like reflected like the Me Too movement and all of these movements that are happening right now and how people take advantage of women, and I was just like not having a good time reading this. I know a lot of people were not having a good time because of that. We like discussed this for days and I was just like angry the whole time. I had to write like a discussion question for this and I wrote it at like 1 a.m. and I thought that it was like a normal sized discussion question, and then I see everybody's discussion questions and they're like this big on a piece of paper and mine's like this big on a piece of paper. And he was like, let's start with yours since it was long, and I was like, thanks. As for Othello, I really did like Othello. I love tragedies by Shakespeare. I just think that they're fantastic. This one made me so sad though, because we've talked before about how Romeo and Juliet is kind of a comedy for like a few acts and then it becomes a tragedy when everybody starts getting killed, because like comedies are mostly about like marriages, and so this one is kind of like that, where there's like a marriage in the beginning, and if you ignore like the Iago part, it is kind of similar to Romeo and Juliet. Like Othello and Desdemona are so in love. Like it's ridiculous. Like I was like, this is true love, and then he just like does a complete 180 in a single scene and then kills her, and I was like, buddy, what are you doing? Then the last book that I read is Whatever, or How Junior Year Became Totally Fucked by S.J. Gosley. This is like a great book. Like this is probably one of my favorite books of the year. First of all, it has a fantastic cover. I enjoy this so much. I had seen some fan art of this, by somebody who like has read a lot of books that I like, and also I've like read books because they like them, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I was like, maybe third time's the charm, it's gonna be great, like I'm just gonna love it, and I did. It was amazing. This has a bisexual main character who like doesn't know that he's bisexual. It's so entertaining because like he's like, oh yeah, I have a girlfriend. She's like, first of all, we weren't even dating. Second of all, you made out with the dude at a party, so now we're definitely not dating. And he's like, I did what? Everything's just so funny about this. It's so like realistic, like this is how teenagers actually talk. They call someone Junior Meat King. Well, I just think he's like a realistic main character because he's just an idiot. He's like a bi idiot, and I'm like, relatable, that's me. He just has no idea what he's doing, but he's trying, and then he's messing up, and I think it's so like realistic that he makes mistakes, but it's so comforting that he has like a happy ending. Like there are so many like LGBT stories that don't have happy endings, and especially in the media, those are the ones that they pick, like kill your gays and everything, and it's like, that's dumb. This is a happy ending. So if you liked like Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda and you want like a little bit of like a crass, more realistic Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda that still has a happy ending, then I would say pick this up. Now into the April TBR. So right now, the book that I'm reading and trying to get through is this fantastic book, which you cannot tell because I took the cover off of it. So I grabbed the cover so you can see because it's beautiful. It's Aru Shah and the End of Time by Roshni Chokshi. Roshni Chokshi is the love of my life, one of my favorite authors. She's complimented my eyeliner before, and I like sobbed like in my bed. I was like, oh my god, Roshni Chokshi thinks my eyeliner is good. This is like a beautiful cover. I love it so much. This is part of Rick Riordan's new imprint, which is Rick Riordan Presents. There's like a bunch of books that he is publishing that are by people from these cultures who are writing about like the mythology and these cultures themselves. This one is like Percy Jackson with Hindu mythology, and it is so good. Like it is such like a nostalgic thing for me because I love Percy Jackson so much as a kid. And I didn't really get into Rick Riordan's other series as much. I'm like trying to get through Magnus Chase. I remember like why I like them so much. Like just the humor in them and the writing style. Like it's so fun. Like it is clearly like not Rick Riordan, and it clearly is the love of my life, Roshni Chokshi. But that just makes it even better. Like I'm having so much fun with this. It's so great. This is going to be a quartet. It's about this 7th grade girl who lives in a museum with her mom, and she finds out one day that she is the reincarnation of one of these like very famous heroes, the Pandava brothers, I think that's what they're called. So first of all, it's a shock because like apparently they've never been girls before. They're like super young. She makes a mistake, accidentally lights this candle, the end of the world's about to happen, and she's very stressed. As these two people realize that they're kind of sisters, there's also a pigeon named Boo in it, and he's like kind of evil, kind of good, really not sure, kind of missing at the part I'm in right now, and I'm stressed. But I'm sure he's gonna be fine. Since we all know I'm gonna be reading some Shakespeare this month, I decided to just include it on like this instead of just showing you at the end of the month. And so this month I'm going to be reading The Winter's Tale and Macbeth. I only know about The Winter's Tale that apparently the main dude in this goes crazier faster than Othello did, and I think that's concerning. And then Macbeth is my favorite Shakespeare play, and so I'm so excited to be reading it for the 3rd time, and I think I might write my essay on this. We have to write like a 2nd essay. The next book that I'm currently reading is Saga. This is a graphic novel. It's volume 1. I bought 3 of these when I was on vacation. This is really fun. It's created by the same person who created Paper Girls, which is another graphic novel that I really enjoyed. This one is definitely a little mature, so hopefully I will be able to get through them. I mean, they're very easy. It's just like sometimes I'm just reading other stuff and I forget that I have these to read. And I get like really stressed every time these 2 characters are in danger, which is like all the time because I already love them so much. I just hope that they're gonna be okay. I've heard so much about this for so long. Like everyone's always like, oh, Saga. And I'm like, you know, it's kind of expensive. And I don't have a lot of money, so that's the reason I didn't get it, but I just bought it on a whim. The next book I have mysteriously misplaced. I know it's here somewhere, but that book is The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater. I have been rereading The Raven Cycle. I tried to reread all of it in like October or something, and then I didn't get to the last one, and it's been a few months, and I just like didn't put it on my TBR last month, maybe the month before that too, because I was like, maybe if I don't put it on my TBR, then I'll actually read it. Didn't work. So I'm putting it back on my TBR. Hopefully I will finish it. I really want to finish it because like I read this book really fast. Like I read it the day I got it, like one go, and I just want to like experience it again. The next book that I hope to finish in the month of April is Al Capone, His Life, Legacy, and Legend by Deirdre Bear. This is just like a biography of Al Capone. I love the mafia and the mob. I'm from Chicago, where that is like a big thing, and Al Capone is the big dude if you're talking about the Chicago mob, the Chicago outfit, all that jazz. So I started reading this last month. It's very interesting, but it's also like tiny text. There's just so much information that I'm learning about Al Capone. Like, he was born in New York, did not even know that part. Apparently I'm not like the best Al Capone fan out there. And the final book that I hope to read in April is Children of Blood and Bone by, oh god, Tomi Adeyemi. I did not realize that I got like the special Barnes & Noble edition. Like, I saw this little thing and I was like, oh, it's special somehow. But then I saw Emma Books like talking about hers, and I realized that I had the exact same edition, which has this like beautiful like cover like underneath the jacket. Not only that, it has like a beautiful map inside, and then it also has like a poster in the back with like all the different clans, which it's kind of been explained as like the Hogwarts house, but like clans. I kind of thought that this was like Harry Potter, but like African Harry Potter, and turns out I think I'm a little off on that. The only thing I really know about this that I actually know is that magic has disappeared from this land. The main character's name is Zelly, I think, and she lives in the land of Orisha, where there is no magic, and she has to go on a quest to try and bring magic back to the land. It looks so good. I've been so hyped about it, even though I don't know that much about it. But I'm very excited for this. So that is the end of my March wrap-up and April TBR. Please let me know down below what you are going to be reading this month or what you read last month. I would love to know. And please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more videos eventually. Still not sure if I'm going to get on track. Hopefully. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!